This is VOA News. I'm Marissa Melton. Ukraine will still have to fight to ensure a supply of modern heavy armor, President Volodymyr Zelensky said to his countrymen on Friday after Western partners failed to agree on whether to provide German tanks. A meeting at the Ramstein air base broke up without a decision on whether Germany should send Leopard 2 battle tanks to Ukraine or permit other countries which have them to do so. Zelensky said in his nightly address to the nation that Ukraine must keep arguing for the tanks it needs to defend itself.
Сьогоднішній Рамштайн зміцнить нашу стійкість.
He said today's Ramstein will strengthen our resilience. Our partners are principled in their approach. They will support Ukraine as long as necessary for our victory. Yes, we still have to fight for the supply of modern tanks, but every day we make it more obvious that there's no alternative to the fact that the decision on tanks must be taken. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius denied Berlin was unilaterally blocking shipment of the tanks, saying his government was ready to move quickly on sending them if there was consensus among allies. The United States will impose additional sanctions next week against Russian private military company the Wagner Group, which U.S. officials say has been helping Russia's military in the Ukraine war. This, according to the White House on Friday. Here's White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby said the Treasury Department will designate Wagner as a significant transnational criminal organization. Last month, the White House said the Wagner Group had taken delivery of an arms shipment from North Korea to help bolster Russian forces in Ukraine.
This imagery shows that on November 18th, 5 Russian rail cars traveled from Russia to North Korea.
That's National Security spokesman John Kirby. North Korea's foreign ministry has called the report groundless. This is VOA News. 4 suspected jihadi attacks have left about 30 people dead in Burkina Faso, including 16 volunteers backing up the army. This, according to security sources on Friday. The attacks, which happened on Thursday, were the latest to hit a civilian auxiliary force supporting the military in their 7-year fight against jihadis, or militants rather, in the volatile West African nation. Since 2015, Burkina Faso has been grappling with an insurgency led by militants affiliated with al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group that has killed tens of thousands and displaced around 2 million people. Thailand is holding a suspect in a $100 million fraud case. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma has more.
The suspect, wanted in connection with an alleged stock manipulation scheme famously involving a small New Jersey delicatessen, has agreed to voluntary extradition to the US after being arrested last week on the Thai resort island of Phuket. Peter Crocker Jr., a partner at a financial services company in Hong Kong, is sought by US authorities on charges of fraud and shares manipulation in connection with 2 companies, Hometown International and E-Waste Corporation, that had been traded over the counter. 2 other men indicted on the same charges were arrested in the US last year. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Sri Lanka has moved closer to securing a crucial $2.9 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund after India extended financing assurances that Sri Lanka needed from its major foreign creditors to get the bailout package. The IMF loan is critical for the tiny island country to begin recovering from its worst economic crisis in decades. India's External Affairs Minister announced the move on Friday. It said the ministry would facilitate the IMF loan. Colombo needs the same assurances from China, its largest lender, to clear the way for disbursement of the loan. European Council officials said Friday they expect additional European Union sanctions to be placed on Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard 1 day after the European Parliament called for the group to be added to the EU terror list. And Russia said Friday it's reached what it called conceptual agreements with Pakistan on the supply of crude oil and petroleum products, noting the 2 sides also agreed the payments will be made in currencies of what it called friendly countries.
This is VOA News.
Please subscribe, like, or comment. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I'm an American. I grew up in the U.S. I am a professional English language educator with extensive experience in teaching English, especially English for academic purposes, test preparation, and general English to university students and adults of all levels from A1 to C2.